Another week of OTAs is underway, and things continue to emerge. Not only were the Eagles made target in a trade during preseason, but Jordan Howard may be viewed as a three-down back for the Eagles. And if this is the case, if he's a three-down back, not only will the Eagles be that much better on offense, but they may have the best running back tandem in the NFL. 18th pick in the NFL draft.
Hey, make us lunch. We're hungry.
Dallas still stinks. Everybody know Ken Ding back here, and I hope everybody's having a great Monday, a great start to their week. Hope you guys are doing great. Another week of OTAs is started, and I'm excited to talk about it. Now, for me, I'm gonna try to keep this video kind of short. I'm not too long because I have strep throat. So my throat is killing. It's on fire. I've been on antibiotics for just about over 24 hours, and I think I'm starting to feel better than I did yesterday, but still don't feel too great, and my throat really hurts to even just talk. So I'm going to try to keep this short, but I had to come on because I'm just so excited about the Eagles. I'm so excited what's going on. As you guys know, you might have heard Doug Pederson's press conference. I'll put the link to it in the description, but he was talking about the Eagles, and of course, a lot of the same things that we've seen since week one of the OTAs. Carson Wentz looks fantastic. The connection to him and Deshaun Jackson continues to grow. Doug is very impressed with him. Carson looks very healthy and strong, and that's a great thing. That's what I love to hear. For me, one of the things, I'll give you two things that really stood out to me today was, one, the interview that Jordan Howard gave, where he talked about how the Eagles have been using him much more in the passing game. Now, Elliott Short-Parks was reporting this earlier during watching OTA practices. So he has been getting a lot more work in the passing game, and the Eagles really may view him as a guy who could be a three-down back, who could catch out of the backfield. And if this is the case, I mean, he will really push Miles Sanders, because I thought Miles Sanders would be the number one back before the season ends. But if Jordan Howard can be a three-down back, we got one hell of a 1-2 punch at running back this year, and I'm very excited because I didn't see Jordan Howard as a guy who could catch out of the backfield, and it was primarily because Chicago never really used him that way. His rookie year, he only had 29 catches. Then his second year, I think it dropped. I don't remember what the exact number was, but it was like under 29. And then last year, it was a career low of 20. So they didn't use him a lot in the passing game. And if the Eagles do, okay, you may see that 29, his career high, go up to 45, 50 catches. And if that's the case, man, you're going to have one hell of a running back on this team. One hell of a number one running back, and then you plug in Miles Sanders to go along with him. I'm very excited about the possibility that Jordan Howard could be a three-down back, a receiving running back, because I did not view him as that when he came over from Chicago. I viewed him as a great running back, a runner. And I think if you look at him, okay, and then you have Miles Sanders and Corey Clement if he's healthy, I literally think that you could have one of the deepest running back groups in the NFL if Jordan Howard can be that three-down back, which sounds like he's very excited. They're using him a lot in practice this way, and apparently he looks great. He looks great. So I'm very excited with the potential possibilities that he could be a three-down back, and I think it's very important. And then, like I said, I believe Miles Sanders is a stud, so he's going to contribute. If Corey Clement is healthy, he can contribute. And then there's a lot of talk today about Boston Scott. Now, I did a video the other day, and I was talking about how the Eagles like to trade in August. And I proposed a trade. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I stand by it. I thought it was a good idea. I still think it is. But the point is that many people say, yo, Philly, go look at Boston Scott. Go tell us what you think in terms of kick returner and what he could do on special teams or what he could be. Well, the Eagles were giving him a lot of praise today. They were giving him a lot of praise. Doug really, they like him. And I spent some time yesterday when I wasn't feeling good and stuff, just watching Boston Scott stuff, and he has got tremendous upside. He does. He's a little faster, a little more shifty than I remember him being last year, but he is. And he does have that Darren Sproles look to him, and I'm excited to see what he could do. Obviously, if he could step up and be what we need on special teams, then you don't need to do anything else, you know. And that other trade I was talking about, that is just my own personal opinion. But Boston Scott is somebody to definitely keep your eye on and watch in training camp. I'm excited about him, and we'll see exactly what he does. But if he can be a contributor, and you, like I said, you have Corey Clement back, Miles Sanders, and then Jordan Howard be a 3-down back, the running back group for the Eagles would be, in my opinion, one of the best in the National Football League. Now, one of the other things I wanted to talk about was the defensive back position, because today in the press conference that Doug had, he named 6 guys who have really stood out for the Eagles. He said Nelson Aguilar, he said Carson Wentz, he said Dallas Goedert. Then he talked about the defense. He said Avonte Maddox, Sidney Jones, and Rasul Douglas. Now, here's the thing. The other day we were talking about the possibilities of the Eagles making a trade in preseason in that time period, because that's what they normally do. They do that a lot, and I don't expect anything different this year. I think they'll do the same thing again. And here is what I'm thinking. There was a press conference the other day with Jim Schwartz, and Jim Schwartz was talking about, kind of insinuating that Howie Roseman will make a move on the defensive line or defensive side of the ball at some point during preseason, and he thinks they'll probably add another pass rusher, okay? So when we look at possibilities of where the Eagles may actually trade during preseason, I think when you take what Jim Schwartz said, then you listen to the praise that Doug Pederson is putting on those defensive backs, okay? I think it's very possible that if these backs have developed because they got a lot of playing time and experience, and they're just progressing, I think it's very possible that you're going to see one of those defensive backs get moved for a defensive end or in a trade of some sort during preseason, and that's probably where you could go. Now, who would I want them to trade? Not Avonte Maddox, okay? I don't want him gone. I don't want Rasul Douglas gone, because I'm a big Rasul Douglas fan. I still believe that at some point this season they will make the move to safety with him. I really believe that this is going to happen. And Sidney Jones was a second-round pick who we need to see something more from, and hopefully he'll develop. Hopefully he'll be healthy and he'll develop into what we think he can. And look, if you get Avonte Maddox, and you get Rasul Douglas, and you get Sidney Jones, and these guys are all developing, somebody else is going. Somebody's going, and I would put money on Jalen Mills. I think Jalen Mills could be the guy that the Eagles look to trade. Sorry, my throat's killing me. But I think he would make sense. You trade Jalen Mills and you pick up another defensive end somewhere on another team when the time comes. Now, of course, everybody wants Jadeveon Clowney, me too, but I don't know how likely that is. But there will be a defensive end. There will be somebody that will emerge that could come in and fill that Chris Long spot that we lost when he retired. I really think that is the important and most likely trade area where you're going to see in preseason. Now, some people have suggested, hey, we could trade Nelson Aguilar because J.J. Whiteside, or Sega-Whiteside, has really emerged. And this is always a possibility. We'll have to see. But from everything we're hearing about Nelson Aguilar, he's primed for a huge year. And let me tell you something. It would not surprise me if he has a career year. Because you know why? When you got Deshaun Jackson opening up everywhere for everybody else, hey, the sky's the limit. And look, Aguilar is in a contract year. He wants the big pay. He wants the big contract. And he's set for it. And I think that he probably won't get moved. I think they're going to keep Aguilar. I think the most likely person that they trade on this team is going to probably be, in my opinion, Jalen Mills. Now, there's a chance it may be Rasul Douglas, but I think that's a mistake. I think Rasul Douglas needs to stay on this team. Darby's got 1 year left on his contract. If Maddox and Sidney Jones both develop to a point where they both could start, then of course Darby probably would leave at the end of the year. You wouldn't need Jalen Mills, so you could trade him. And in a perfect scenario for me, okay, my perfect scenario, I would love this. This is what I would love, okay. I would love a situation where Sidney Jones is on the outside, Avonte Maddox is on the outside, LeBlanc is a solid stud slot corner, okay, in my view. And then you move Rasul Douglas to the safety position and let him be that guy, because he's a ball hawk in my opinion. Now that would be my perfect situation. I know things aren't necessarily going to work out that way, but if we can get half of that, meaning Sidney Jones and Avonte Maddox, they could be stud corners. Even if Sidney Jones is in the slot, we're way ahead of where we were last year. I'm very excited about everything I'm hearing. Those are the things that stood out to me today. And hey, it's going to be fun. Now, next week is mandatory mini camp, so it's going to be interesting to see if Malcolm Jenkins and those guys show up. Some of the veterans that haven't been there, and I expect them to. Sounds like Doug does too, and we'll see what happens. My throat's killing me. I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to go rest. Tell me what you think about what you're hearing, what you've seen, and your thoughts on the defensive back position. Who would they trade, and what position would they trade for in preseason? With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Don't be a ding.